Good morning, internets. My name is James, and I'm back with you for another video. Today, I thought we'd talk a bit about DNS, what it is, how it works, things like that. So, DNS is actually the phone book of the internet. Instead of remembering a computer address, which is a big string of numbers, or hexadecimal numbers, you just type in a name. So, for example, whenever you go to google.com, you literally just type in google.com. You don't have to remember the address of the computer. You know, like if you send a letter to a friend, you have to have their address. You can't just say their name. But if you send them an email, if it's like that domain.com, such as a Gmail account or Yahoo account, then it knows to send it to that company. That company knows, oh, this is the user. Well, with DNS, it handles all of that. Again, it's like the phone book for the internet. That's how really the entire internet works, is because of DNS and translating names to make it easier for you and I versus translating, just typing in addresses, because you can never remember a big long IPv4 address or even much longer an IPv6, especially if they have to change those IPs. So let's grab our coffee and let's dig into some DNS fun. Yeah, mostly I wanted a sip of coffee. It sounded good. All right. So with DNS, you can actually query DNS servers from your own computer right now with me if you want. If you open up a command prompt or Windows terminal, let's have a little bit of fun. So here's my Windows terminal. We're going to make this bigger, make it easier for you to see. So if we type in DNS lookup, this is a command line that allows us to query DNS directly. Now you'll notice here, you'd be pointing up that way, I'm using a service called DNS filter. So it's telling me, okay, we're going to use DNS lookup and we're going to use this DNS server to query all of our domain names. So let's pick on one, google.com, right? You type in google.com, it's going to say, okay, I'm querying that DNS server and here's all the addresses I found for google.com. Google has quite a few. These change constantly depending on where you're at, because they're looking for the closest server to you. Kind of hard to remember all those numbers, isn't it? But if you type one of those IP addresses in, you would go to google.com. Likewise, if we do a reverse lookup, I have no idea what we're going to get, but we'll see. It tells us the reverse IP. So you can actually search by IP address. You could search by name. Now, why didn't this come back as google.com? Well, just because you have a forward lookup, which is the name, then IP, doesn't mean it's going to be IP name going to match. And in this case, it doesn't. So this is probably part of their what's called a CDN, content delivery network. So it's probably part of the service that they use, and it's hitting a random data center that's closest to me. There's also different types of DNS records. You can have like text records, you can have mail records, you can have all kinds of different ones. So if we type in set type equals MX, this is mail records. So let's look at Google's Gmail mail records. So here, with these mail records, it tells you, okay, here's the following mail, and it's kind of behind me now, but it gives you them in order. So this one that's 5, this is the primary one, this Gmail SMTP. Likewise, if we look up a different name, it could be any name, right? Even like Microsoft, we don't want Google to feel alone here being picked on. You know, it's just the one URL. That's it. Now, behind this is probably an army of servers in Azure, but it gives you an idea. You can have different types of architectures. You know, Google's mail, they run theirs differently. There's no one way that's the right way of doing it when it comes to things like this for redundancy and whatnot. But anyway, that's another video. Let's go back to some more DNS fun. What about other record types? Well, your type A, that's what we did up here. That's your A record. And these A records are going to be for IP lookup. So computer name to address. Whereas MX records, that's your mail. Well, there's another record type called text records. So if we do a set type equals text, now we can look up text records. So let's pick on Google again because it's fun. And here's Google's text records. When we notice here, we can actually learn a few things. Okay, they have Apple devices. They're using DocuSign. Oh, they're using something with Facebook and Atlassian and OneTrust. And this is actually part of email, their SPF record. This is the SPF record allows you to verify who you are. So DNS records, especially text, are used a lot of times for verification. Yes, you are who you say you are because it's a publicly accessible record that's replicated across the entire internet. It's pretty cool. Likewise, if we did the same thing, type in Microsoft.com, we're going to see all of theirs. And they're using Google. Isn't that funny? So with these different record types, we can learn a lot about how a company is set up, but we can also verify our own. Like if you're running a website and you want to make sure it's pointing to the right address, or if you're trying to contact an email address, you can look up their mail records, things like that. DNS is a very, very handy tool that often breaks because it's easily forgotten. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Play with DNS lookup. It's a blast. It makes it really easy. And if you run Linux, then you can use Dig. We'll probably have a future video on that. And I hope you join me for next time. Thanks for watching.